Hello everyone, my name is Eric Christensen from MRU University Library, and today I'm going to walk you through how to use the library's main search. So for this video, I'm going to take you through how to create a basic search, expand that search into a more advanced search, and specifically how to use some of the filters that are built into MRU LibrarySearch to help you find the type of resource and a relevant resource for any kind of research project. So let's start this search with something simple. When you first come to LibrarySearch, you'll most likely encounter it on the library's homepage. In fact, there is a big search bar for the library search, so you can easily put in your search terms here and click enter. For this example, I'm going to go directly to the library search interface itself, and to get there, all you have to do is click on the search icon with a blank search. You don't need to type anything in. When you start a new search, an MRU LibrarySearch, what you'll get is a screen that gives you some information about how to use the search interface in general. So like I said, I haven't put in a particular keyword, I haven't searched for anything, but as a result of that, I can see some helpful information boxes like what is being searched, where should I sign in to search, how do I request materials, etc. On this particular page, you should also notice that there is a library search FAQs section. The library search FAQs are a list of commonly asked questions about library search. So if you're not sure how to use the system, or you're new to the university and you're just getting started with research, this is a good place to see if there's already an existing explanation for your question. Before I get started searching, you'll notice that there is an alert that tells me that I may want to sign in. If you haven't done so already, you want to do this now because this will be helpful for you later. You can sign into LibrarySearch using your My MRU login. Okay, now that I've signed in to my MRU Library account, I think I'm ready to get started with some searching. For this example, let's say that I want to start off looking for resources on sports psychology. So I'm just going to type that in. As I start typing in my search query, you'll see that several suggestions have been made to me. I'm pretty happy with this as is, so I'm just going to hit search. A basic search like this will give you a lot of results. So one of the focuses of this video is going to be how to narrow down your results to get a small number of relevant and meaningful resources for your particular assignment. In a basic search, you can also define where you want to look for resources. So one of the first filters that you'll come across is this thing that says MRU Library beside my search. If you click this drop-down menu, you'll see that I have the ability to search all of MRU Library, MRU Library's online-only materials, and I can also specify my search to course reserves. Now, a search like this is pretty basic, and it's going to yield many results. What we want to do, and what the focus of this video is how to narrow your search results down to something a little bit more manageable. I recommend going over to the Advanced Search section, which is to the right of the search bar. You'll see that in the Advanced Search section, I'm given a few more lines to parse out my search query. Now there's a few ways that I could adjust this particular search. To the left of this search, you'll notice that I have a few drop-down options I can choose from. Under any field, I can specify if I'm looking for the term sports psychology in the title of the source. That may yield me more specific results. I could also look for the subject to see if there's a particular subject or category related to sports psychology. We're going to leave the author-creator section alone for this time, since there probably isn't an author named sports psychology, but this particular dropdown is helpful if you were searching for, say, an author that you already knew, like Margaret Atwood. For now, I'm going to leave this as any field, because I'm not really sure where I want to search these keywords. The second dropdown, called Contains by default, gives you some other options. For instance, I can search sports psychology as independent terms, like sport and psychology. I can also select Contains exact phrase, meaning that I'd be searching the exact term sport psychology. I can also specify my search to give me resources that start with the term sports psychology. Again, I'm going to leave this blank for the time being because I have some other ideas about how I might want to filter this down. You'll also notice that there are multiple lines where we can add search terms. And in fact, I can add multiple search lines and specify what it is I'm looking for. For instance, I started this search by searching sports psychology all in one line. But what I'm really doing is saying I'm looking for resources that have the word sport and psychology in them. Another way to do this search would be to have sport and psychology on another line. In between these rows, you'll see this and a drop-down menu. This is really helpful. This is what we call Boolean search. In this example, I've put sport in the top row and I've put psychology in the second. I can change this to and, or not. If I were to change this search to sport or psychology, I'm likely to get more results because I'm saying to the search engine that I'm looking for any resources that contain either the term sport and psychology. These terms no longer have to occur together. I'll show you what I mean. You'll notice that my results balloon considerably. In fact, over 10 million search results, which is far too many to go through. So when you first start searching in the library search, it's probably a good idea to have at least 2 or maybe 3 search terms to start, and then from there you can specify. Let's try writing this search a different way. I'm going to search sports psychology as a phrase, since I really want to keep those 2 words together. To search something as a phrase in most databases, and including the library search, you want to put your phrase in quotation marks. So let's give that a try. Now I'm searching sports psychology as one idea. I also want to include a specific type of sport. Let's assume that I'm looking for resources on sports psychology as well as football. In the row below, this is a good place to put football. You'll notice below that I have just over 7,400 results, which is much better than the 10 million I got in my broader search. There's a few other things I can continue to do in this interface at the top to refine my search. For instance, under All Items, I could specify the type of resource I'm looking for. So if I was looking for an article, I could select that. I could also say when I want my source to have been published. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for in terms of dates right now, so I'm going to leave these blank. But I do know that I'm looking for academic articles. Let's refine this search again. Now I have 5,314 results. I'm getting less and less all the time, and my resources are becoming more specific. Once you've conducted a basic search, a good rule of thumb is to look through the resources and see if there's anything relevant. Looking through the resources before you specify your search too much will give you an idea if you're on the right track. This resource looks particularly useful to me. It's titled The Art of Goal Setting, a tale of doing sports psychology in professional football. I want to take a closer look at this. This is the preview of the library record for this particular resource. So there's a few things that we can do before we even delve deeper. You'll notice that there's these icons in the top right of this source. This tells you to find other sources that cite this item. This is referred to as citation chaining. This tells you which sources have been cited in this particular article. This allows you to email the source to yourself. This will give you the permanent link to this resource. And this will add the item to your pins. This is a really useful feature. If you click on this, the resource will be added to your pin on the top right of the screen. At any time, you can click on this and you can go to the resources that you have saved. This is a great way to save resources permanently to your library account if you're signed in. Let's go back to our search. You can access more features of the library search interface by clicking on these 3 dots to unlock the actions. And here you get other icons, larger ones, for email, permalink, printing the source, citing the source, including the source in Mendeley, RefWorks, other citation managers. Most of these actions give you the ability to export the citation of the source into a citation manager if you're using one. I'd also recommend that you take a closer look at the record of this source, and you can do so by clicking on the title. This is the full record of the article that I found, and we get some really useful information. For instance, if I look under the details section, I get the title of the article and the creators, so these are the two authors. This tells me which publication this article was published in, so in this case the article was published in Sports Science Review. Subjects are kind of like academic hashtags. They're used to group like sources together. We also have a description of the source, so this tells me a little bit about the article. If you scroll down, you'll notice there's a section called Access Options. Access Options will show you the various databases and locations where you can access this article and get to the full PDF. In this case, the article is available through the EBSCO-host SportDiscus with full text database. SportDiscus is a common health and physical education database. If I want to access the full version of the source, all I have to do is click on the access option that's provided to me. This should open in a new tab or a new window. The library search has taken me to the full text version of this particular article. In this case, it's opened up a new tab to the SportDiscus database, and it's taken me to the record of the source that I found. From here, I can access the full PDF, and I can download this article, I can print it, and read it at my leisure. Let's go back to the library search for a second. In the citation section, you'll find tools for finding out who has cited this article and which articles have been cited in the article I've already found. This is what we call citation chaining, or the art of finding sources through other sources. For instance, if I want to find out who has cited this article that I've found since it's been published, I can click this button. Here, I'll be given a list of sources that cite the article that I'm interested in. This is a good way of finding newer sources since the one you found was published. I can also click the Cited in this button, and this will show me the articles that the article I found cites in its references. Here, I can access many of the sources that the author of this article has cited through the library search interface. One thing to keep in mind is that citation chaining this way may not give you access to all of the sources that have been cited by the particular author. Not everything is available through the MRU library system. For a comprehensive look at all of the sources that the author has cited, you'll need to go to the full PDF of the article. This has been a brief overview of how to do a basic search in the MRU library search interface. In the next section, I'm going to teach you how to use some of the more advanced filters to narrow down your search even further.